Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today we're going to be talking about those dumb, silly, goofy moments that you've seen a player do. With DMs and players, what is the dumbest thing you've seen a player do? Part 4. So one of the dumbest things I've seen in a game happened in our Dungeon of the Mad Mage campaign. So yeah, spoilers for that. We had just cleared out the Dwarven Brewery and were making our way further into the dungeon when we realized there was a series of pit traps ahead of us. This isn't the dumb part yet, of course, so hold on. There are 3 pit traps down this barrel run, which open if something more than 50 pounds steps across them, but don't open if a barrel is rolled down the corridor. We had already disabled the traps, but our ranger Hadari decided he wanted to try to balance on a barrel rolling down the corridor. Still not the dumb part. I mean, the module actually has rules for if a character wants to do this, so even the writers had this idea. My cleric, Torxina, went ahead and gave him Enhance Ability to give him advantage on the acrobatics check. That's when Hadari said he would do this while chugging a mug of ale from the brewery we had just left. Still not the dumb part. Wait, it gets worse. Because that man rolled double nat 20s with the Enhance Ability and rolled down the hallway like a boss without spilling a drop of ale. And now we get to the dumb part, because then he said, "Hey, it worked great the first time, let's do it again." Double nat 1s. He made it about 5 feet and tumbled face first into the floor, and the barrel rolled over him and continued down the hallway. Moral of the story: if the dice gods giveth, don't push your luck. A dumb tale in 3 parts. Intro. The party and I were tasked with shanking the witch queen in her dungeon. I get trapped in a room I was exploring, separated from any party members to help me out. The room starts filling with poison gas. I'm slowly choking to death instead of being knocked out thanks to poison resistance. The dumb moment. The night before, I had watched the video Fireball Solves Everything by XP to level 3 and thought it was hilarious. While panicked, I thought it'd be funny if, even out of character, I cast Fireball to blast my way through a wall to escape. Sadly, I forgot how gas works. The instant the fireball came into existence, the entire room exploded, hitting me for nearly all my HP. The explosion blasted me clean through the locked door and smashing me into a nearby. I kinda just forgot how fire worked too, by the way. Now I was outside a constantly exploding fiery room of death that was very quickly setting the rest of the dungeon on fire. The conclusion: I used the rest of my spell slots to heal up and dipped out of the dungeon with the party. The dungeon became a raging inferno. After the fire had burnt out, we found the magic staff and tomes covered in what we could only assume was witch ash. And the lesson learned: Fireball solves everything except for the problems it causes. We were fighting the big bad of our campaign, and we were fighting him in a warehouse depot essentially. It was filled with gunpowder. It was all over the floor and in barrels. When we rolled perception to see what it was, we couldn't tell because we rolled a disadvantage from very low light. But the area we were in was known for making gunpowder en masse. While the big bad evil guy was bragging about how we were powerless to stop his plan to suicide bomb the nearby city and how the explosion would be big enough to level half the city at minimum, how long they'd been gathering resources, all of this, our wizard cast Fireball on him. 5th level. The amount of gunpowder that went off blew a hole in the mountain we were on, which caused an avalanche which still destroyed the city. We took 100 D12 fire damage, 40 D4 force damage, and then another 100 D8 bludgeoning damage. And this fucker just smirks from across the table and says, "That was worth it." Basically what I'm hearing is we all re-rolled new characters or the campaign just straight up ended. Okay, my major fuck-up was in the beginning of the campaign. Our party found a merchant who sold many things including carriages. Since it was a new campaign, we were poor and didn't have enough gold for a carriage. Well, I decided to knock the poor old man out and steal the carriage. From then on, we were wanted everywhere. I later found out if I hadn't knocked him out, he would have simply helped us get more transportation. My party returned to the alchemist lady to turn in the quest items. Fair enough. While the others were talking to her, the Paladin snuck off to the side and said, I whip it out and start pissing in her potions. For absolutely no reason. He failed the stealth check miserably, and the whole party got thrown out of the shop. Later, the Paladin managed to get a date with her with some ungodly lucky nat 20s. I would hate to be in this campaign. Also, isn't that not lawful? So technically, shouldn't he have lost all of his Paladin powers? The Paladin pisser powers, yes. I remember my party made the bad decision to have my character be out in the front and search for traps. I was a curious barbarian goblin with extremely low whiz and int. After I stepped on the first trap, my perception was too low to actually see it. Everyone thought my character would disarm it. I also told them I don't have disabled device, so my character stepped on the trap again, assuming it was done. Nope. Everyone got hit with damage again. I asked if anyone else wanted to take the lead instead of me. Oh, nah, they said it was fine. I could stay in the lead. Haha. Good idea, kids. I step on the trap 2 more times and almost get the entire party down to 0 HP before they think, yeah, you know, maybe having the idiot goblin lead the way was a very bad idea. Then they let me step on the same trap 2 more times. What? This party, they're all like, it's like, that's a Darwin Award story. That's not a dumbest thing. It's a Darwin Award thing. My cousin sold spoiled horse meat by tricking the guy we were selling supplies by telling him they were a delicacy. Then started a bar fight, stole a horse seconds after the mayor decided to let him go, and got arrested. He managed to just barely convince the mayor to go help the party and never return. Safe to say, he learned his lesson and became much more helpful. This happened a while ago, and the shenanigans she pulls are still absurd, but we still love her. In this particular scene, we were being chased by dire wolves because we had injured one of their wolf pups after it chased us, and we perceived that as a threat. We get to our destination, a large castle. We're currently in the back courtyard because we had entered from the back. So a pack of dire wolves to our back, an army of zombies to the front, and ghosts overhead. Oh my! What does this particular party member do? Well, she tries to befriend the dire wolves. She hates when I kill animals in Minecraft and almost loses her hand because she tried to practice medicine on the dire wolf pup we had just injured. All I have to say is, bless her heart. Also, I can kind of sympathize with that. I love this character already. We need more stories about this a Dr. Dolittle type character. Playing Curse of Strahd. We're level 3 at the time. Our party sees the undead chariot and says we need to stay on the mission. We can come back to this later if it's still here. Death Cleric sees the undead chariot and immediately runs up to it to investigate. Oh, fails his dex save and is thrown into the carriage going to Ravenloft. Good luck. The rest of the party, aside from the other cleric, says he's going to die for his idiocracy and continue on the mission. The other cleric manages to grab the Death Cleric before anything bad happened, but falls off the bridge going to Ravenloft. Out of character, the Death Cleric was pissed at the rest of the party for not wanting to TPK by going to Ravenloft at level 3. TLDR, dumb Death Cleric gets both clerics killed because he wanted to be stupid and was angry out of character that the rest of the party didn't want to help him in a deadly situation. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. An unconscious player character was bleeding until treated, so it would start rolling death saves again every hour. The monk and barbarian had this conversation. I have an idea. I make a bandage out of leaves. I just brought a healer's kit. I have bandages right here. The monk, however, climbs a tree and fails the athletics check. Okay, the leaves are out of reach. I have to use mud instead. I have +6 and advantage on athletics, and I'm a fairy. I can get your leaves. Okay, I made a mud bandage. You do things like this every time you get sober. Also, I wish I had context that it was a fairy beforehand, because could you imagine like a Tinkerbell character? Hello, Peter Pan. I'm here to touch your prison pocket. We were playing Kingmaker and had finally gotten to the final boss of the entire campaign. He's a mythic summoner, and we have a party of 6 fighting his eidolon, while he is finishing a ritual to basically become part of Golarion and rule the world. Now, while we're fighting in here, we have multiple nations' armies fighting their nations' armies along with a bunch of green super elementals this dude is commanding. What, like Hulks? Well, we've downed the Eidolon after I almost shoot myself to death. I was a gunslinger, and we figure out that the way to stop the ritual is to go into his area. But by doing so, your soul will be erased from existence. Oh, no afterlife, just done. So naturally, I shoot our queen in the head with a non-lethal round because she starts sprinting to sacrifice herself. And then I shoot our war priest who tries to do the same. Our war priest gets an attack of opportunity because, with a combination of buff spells, he's a manimal triceratops kaiju. And we knock each other out. Here comes the dumb part. The rogue, our wizard, and a DMPC who is the summoner's brother helping us stop him are left. The wizard ends up convincing the DMPC to sacrifice himself, while the rogue with 7 strength is trying to drag the queen out. We have a D6 on the table counting the rounds until this thing goes off, and he legitimately out of character did not know what it was for, or what was going on with the ritual. This was explained to us multiple times by the DM, and we have 2 rounds before this guy becomes the planet and doesn't even know it. Luckily, our wizard cast heroism on the DMPC, and he went in. But holy crap was it frustrating that this guy didn't care enough to pay attention in the final battle of the campaign. I told the DM after the session I wasn't going to be playing any more games with that guy since all he wanted to do was roll attacks. Thing is, he wasn't even good at that and would regularly complain my triple multi-class gunslinger was overpowered. Dungeon Crawl Classics Session 0. Everyone was playing 4 characters with the expectation that not all of them would make it out alive. We enter a dungeon and someone wisely decides to clear everyone out of the hallway before opening a door. Oh, sure enough, a fire trap goes off, harming no one because we all got out of the way. The DM proceeds to describe the next room, which includes a statue of a figure pointing out the door. Its finger is charred and smoking. Well, my dumb ass promptly forgets about the fire trap that we just avoided and thinks, hey, that could be a hint as to what to do next. One of my characters pulls out a tinderbox and lights the statue's finger on fire. Smell my finger, it's on fire. Cue a big explosion that kills off maybe a third of the party, including 3 of my 4 characters. More than all of the other casualties in the session combined. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not. That made for a really good laughing, choking fest right there. I felt like El Jan, laughing, choking numbnuts right there. I love it. Brian Von VA here, checking in after the vid and not dying from laughter. I hope everybody liked the video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified when we post a brand new video. And of course, leave a comment down below telling us about your dumbest moment, dumbest thing you've seen, anything. We want to know. I love you all. Be safe. We'll see you next time.